Let's try that. Welcome to the closing beat, everybody. Happy Friday. How you doing out there? Hope you're having a good day. Just had one of those days with software. You know, you're just like, man, just wish I could figure it out. Anyways, welcome to the closing beat. This is our daily stock market update show that we do here for you guys. We cover the stock markets, all the good stuff here for our customers, as well as those of you that are out there and want to watch and participate. Hope you do. Thanks for watching. Thanks for enjoying this week. Hopefully you learned something. We're going to teach you something else before we wrap this thing up for the week. We're also playing a game. It's called Guess the Dow. jazzwealth.com/guess the Dow. You have until tomorrow afternoon to guess where you think the Dow is going to close next week. If you're the closest without going over, we'll send you a $100 gift card. Check this out. Our winner today was Miss Amy Shirley. She's been notified. She's not one of our customers. She gets a $100 gift card on the way to her. Guess is 24460.75. And you go, okay, well, that's pretty close. Good job, Amy. So congratulations to Amy. But the Dow closes out at 24465.16. And unfortunately, who was it? Debbie Newman guesses 24465.92. You just went over, Debbie. So just guessed. It's got to be the closest without going over is the rules of the game. Debbie's so close. You have to play again. You can play every week if you'd like, but awesome there. Congratulations, Amy, for playing the game as well as winning the game. Gift card will be on the way out to you. Just need your address. We've already emailed you to get that from you. Real quick, before I get started, a quick shout out to Jesse, man. Jesse knows my favorite bottle of wine, and Jesse's like, hey, man, here's a bottle of wine. Here's another bottle of wine. Here's another bottle of wine. And then if that doesn't do you over, here's another one. So big thanks to Mr. Jesse, one of our customers here. I appreciate it. Did the math. You fell within the rules. Not allowed to accept gifts over $100. So even though they did recently raise their prices on the old Milton Park Shiraz, still good. I appreciate that. And I'll knock this out tonight and let you know how it goes maybe Monday. It's a 3-day weekend, right? So I can have all of these tonight. Anyways, let's get started here. You got the Dow a little bit lower on the day, but the S&P and the NASDAQ managed to squeak out a little bit of a gain, mostly coming towards the end of the day. So just kind of how it worked out today. Here's the S&P on the charts there, back around the 200-day moving average, flirting with the idea of getting above 3,000. It's going to happen. Is it not going to happen? We're just chopping around back and forth. We got a small gain. More importantly, it's how we did it. We came off the lows today. That's impressive, right? It's not amazing, but it's impressive that we started the day lower overnight. We were lower. Dow was down over 200 points overnight, and we managed to just sort of creep it back throughout the day. It was a very low volume type day. A lot of people seem to be already on their 3-day weekend going on there. That's okay. Russell 2000 did well today and continues to do well as it wraps up the after-hour session. It's done. It's actually over. Up a little bit on the day, and this is your best performer this week. The Russell 2000 adding 7.5%. So very cool. And I'll show you how we talked about this last week. You can kind of see how this broke down, just so you could just see the inner workings of how things go. The S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Dow also had a good week, but only squeezed out about 3%, 3.2, 3.5 right in there, depending on the index that you're looking at. For the day, of course, the S&P got you a little bit of a gain. We got the 3-day weekend. Don't forget about that. So we won't be here Monday. The markets won't be here Monday. They will be closed. And so that's where you're at. Also, this week, we unofficially wrapped up earnings season. Earnings season unofficially starts with JP Morgan and ends with Walmart. From here, it's just a lot of retail names, some smaller stuff that gets a little attention here and there. But the bulk of earnings season, 95% of it is over. So that's it for now. The S&P did quite well through earnings season. It gained just over 5% for earnings season. It's kind of an interesting thing. We're going to probably make this our lesson in our Notes from Jazz email to our customers this week about companies lowering guidance and removing guidance. So is the fact that a lot more companies are lowering guidance than raising guidance a good thing, or does it mean there's only good things to come? So we'll probably cover that, give you a little bit of a lesson there. Economically, well, we got to do it. Here we go. Pointed this out a couple weeks ago to our customers. The first thing you're going to look at is the number of delinquent payments if you're looking for the economy to get weaker or see signs of a recovery. Here is the screen here. You got U.S., all U.S.-based, mortgages, auto loans, and credit cards. These are going to be accounts that are delinquent by 90 days or more. You can see the uptick in auto loans, the uptick in credit cards. Actually not a good sign for people that are more than 90 days late on their auto loans. Remember, 90 days, right? It hasn't been 90 days that we've been involved in this mess, really. So that number could be expected to go higher, and largely is expected to go higher. Just for fun, I'll put the expectations on the chart. That'll be your blue line now. That is the expectations for delinquents for different different types of loans to go up. It's expected that that's going to continue. If I back that out for a second, you'll notice mortgages. Mortgages are not showing signs of delinquency. It's actually ticked a little bit lower. We'll call it basically flat. And remember, that's probably a misleading number because of the well, think of the fanciest word I can say, because of the moratorium on foreclosures out there due to the virus. And so that's kind of a mixed number at the moment. However, credit cards, auto loans, home equity lines of credits, other types of loans, all seeing an uptick overall in there. Not a good sign overall, but also priced in. A lot of people believe that that was already kind of priced into the markets there. So I thought I'd just share that with you. Also, if you were watching Outside the Virus today, we did an incredible breakdown of the industrial sector. They've been outperforming here since about May 15th. I went through step by step just to show you how we found it, how you identify it, how you find stocks inside of it that are outperforming, what's leading the way, and where should the focus be in this entire sector. How do you kind of break that down and do your own analysis there? So gave you a really good head start in Outside the Virus. Our FinTips videos today was 4 ways to boost your retirement savings. Did some really interesting things there, and not just the general nonsense that you see other people do. And Wine and Wealth last night, great one for our customers. Every Thursday we do a class for our customers. It's private just for them. The archives are available to them. We covered what negative interest rates mean for your mortgage, your credit cards, your loans, your savings, how it's going to affect your dough if we happen to go negative, just to be ahead of the curve there. We also did some of the fine print in the HEROES Act. I don't know how many of you have read through this very thick HEROES Act, almost 3 times larger than the CARES Act. But there's some fine print in there that means a lot more dough coming your way than what the headlines are telling you there. And then we talked about student loans, the credit issues that you're having there. Talked about checking your credit and things that unfortunately people are going through. Anyways, let's go through it here. Sector breakdown. It was definitely a defensive type day, meaning even though the markets were higher, people were leaning towards safety rather than taking additional risk. One way to see that is utilities. Utilities had a good day today, 1.1% higher. In fact, the stat that I gave you yesterday, that the next 7 days sees an average gain of 0.9%, we did it already. It took 1 day for that to happen. Of course, there's still 6 days left to go. But so far, the seasonal movement of the utilities is starting to play out exactly as the stats show. So we're big on that. We'd like to share that with you. But a defensive area. So you had money moving into defensive. Technically, if you look at the chart, you still got a decent little downtrend there that is trying to break. We talked about it yesterday, getting above this downtrend, maybe giving the signs of the all clear to keep going. We'll keep following it. Retail also had a good day. This is also known as a defensive type area. Look at your REITs, XLRE, ICF, whatever you like to use. Great day, 2% today. It was the best sector today, by the way. And then one last one, you always check for defensive consumer staples. Did okay. It was basically in line with the market today, a little bit behind, but you could just see that money coming in, a little bit heavier volume and some of the underlying stocks in there. Got to be able to point that out. Where's the money moving to being aggressive and then, money moving to be more defensive? And that's kind of what you saw today. Going back to the real estate for a second there, trying to break through that downtrend there. A couple things I want to point out. Your American Tower had a great day today, up 6%. This is the one we pointed out yesterday, technical pattern down to the 200-day moving average. A lot of people don't believe in technical analysis. Well, maybe lends a little credit towards that if you happen to look at that sort of thing. And Crown Castle also had a great day as well. Those were the 2 REITs that we pointed out yesterday as far as pullbacks inside of a strong, pullbacks in a strong way, right? So they weren't relatively weak compared to the sector. They also happen to be a bigger bulk of those, heavier weighting in the sector. For example, American Tower, I keep wanting to say American Tire. American Tower, with its gain today, this makes up 15% of this ETF, the XLRE. So you can understand if that had a really good day, it's going to drag the whole sector along with it there. American Tower was also upgraded by Oppenheimer. That certainly didn't hurt. That helped there. They're very bullish on wireless devices and that whole 5G thing coming out and doing its thing. Moving on, you got energy here down about 0.5%. It was the worst performer today. Oil pulled back just a little bit, although it didn't finish as weak as some might like. It was the weakest one today. Oil was below $31 overnight. It really sold off hard. You can kind of see it with the tail there. Overnight with the China news that they were going to not give their GDP guidance going forward. That sent the price of oil back down to 31, just under 31. But it recovered all day long. It just slowly recovered there. So not totally bearish just yet. Back to the energy sector there, you've got Chevron down about 2% on the day. You got ExxonMobil. It actually finished flat, so it was able to get back in there. Both of these stocks remain in choppy areas. Look at the last month and a half there. Does that excite you? Do you see a stock on fire? Do you see a stock that's about to fall or crater? You really don't see anything. You see a Rorschach chart, basically. You see nothing going on there. So that's what was happening there. Oil, by the way, finished the day down 2.1%, but still higher by 13% on the week. It's by far the best performing commodity, the best performing area. Did really good there. USO, you'll notice, did not participate. USO, in fact, loses about 3 times the amount of the price of oil. I'll keep mentioning it. USO is dead. The way that they got emotional about changing the investments that they have, or I should say the contracts that they have, oh boy. You know what I mean? That's a dead ETF. You can no longer use the USO as your pure play to oil. Some people don't have access to oil futures. They're not allowed to participate in those for whatever reason. And so they used USO in the past. Not very good anymore. It's a very tough one. The reason it sold off today, your longer dated futures contracts lost more than the shorter dated futures contracts. Just horrible what they did. They killed the ETF, essentially. Very frustrating. Healthcare. It's the worst performer this week. It just had a string of 5 days that was just kind of weak. Started off good, but then faded throughout the week. It's your worst performer overall. Technically, if you're looking at the charts there, bit of a choppy mess, not very exciting, something maybe you're not too excited about. Financials were also sleepy today, down 1/3% on the day. Just nothing to go on here. You got Bank of America down a little bit on the day. You got JP Morgan just down a little bit, not too big of a deal. It's chop, right? It's basically back and forth Christmas tree type trading, as we call it. It just back and forth, not a whole lot to get excited about there. We take a look at your 401ks for the week. Here's an interesting thing. Last week, this is the chart that we used on Friday to say it's been good, right? So far not too bad, but we've seen a small bounce in value. And I put on there, I mean a really small bounce, super small. It's just a blip on the screen, but it's a small bounce to try to give you the hint, right? It's starting to perk up a little bit. People are starting to move money to there. If we take a look at this week, the leaders were your value besides large cap. You had small cap value, mid cap value were the outperformers in your 401k. So if you happen to have these types of funds, they were the ones that would have done the best. Large cap value continues to drag behind, and that's only because when people choose the large cap area, they're going growth. T. Rowe Price Growth Fund is doing really well right now, and so nobody's interested in large cap value because everything in the large cap growth category is on fire, right? So that's basically how that works. There you go. Let's go to some individual stocks here and do your sort of technical breakdown for the day. Coty, C-O-T-Y, higher on the day, 12.6%. They're launching Kylie Skin in Europe, Kylie Jenner's product there. So I love them or hate them, or if you don't even care, these guys took a minority stake in Kylie Jenner's brand and paid a whole lot of money for it. Well, they're launching over there in Europe, and a lot of people are expecting that to go stinkingly well. You got Harley Davidson up 3% there. They're going to scale back their deliveries to dealers so that they can simplify their production as they ramp things back up and get everything fired back up again. Also, side note, the CEO, he bought another, basically 1 million shares. Since he became the CEO, he's now $1 million in shares, not 1 million shares, $1 million in shares. Since he's become the CEO, someone could fact check me on this one. I think he's pushing over $3 million worth of shares that he has bought in the company. So it's a good sign. If you always want to see your CEO participating to some degree, you want to see him buying, not selling. Anyways, you got 6 new highs on the day. You got Chipotle. Chipotle hit new highs every single day this week. It's been on the list. Good day to wrap things up 3% on the day. eBay, there you go, hit new highs as well. eBay, the last couple of days, we'd call that a pause. It's basically paused at highs, hasn't done a whole lot. Today looking pretty good. Carrier Global, this one hit new 52-week highs. Pointed this out yesterday. Carrier and Otis, the spinoffs from Raytheon, or United Technologies, sorry. And so those looking good. And NVIDIA did the same thing today. New 52-week highs. After kind of floating around there, they had earnings, and everybody's pretty excited about that one. So looking good. We went all week here without new 52-week lows of any kind in the S&P 500. That's pretty cool. And if we look at technical charts here, we'll go away from AMT. We talked about that one yesterday, and Crown Castle, they're doing well. We'll move away from that one. Remember, this is still watch list building time. Allstate, you're not sure if this is going to make a higher low here. Trying to break out of that downtrend. I think you continue to watch Allstate. I have no advice on it, just saying it's a watch. And utilities, if you're looking in the ETF space, we know the statistics going forward, at least what's happened over the last 20 years for the next 7 days. Also, that one's trying to break through the downtrend there. And with the buying today on a lower volume day where the market didn't do a whole lot, it's got to stand out to you, at least a little bit, right? Ross Stores down a little bit on the day. They have cut their dividend. That's the main news I wanted to give you from that one. While we're doing this, Abercrombie did as well, and Foot Locker also. Those stocks are lower on that news. Bed Bath & Beyond, just a touch lower on the day. They plan to reopen their stores. They got a plan slowly but surely, and they're going to expand their fulfillment centers inside the stores. Remember, that was something they were working on before the virus. They're really trying to ramp up their internet side of things, or online ordering. They got some really good help there now, and so they're going to expand that. People seem to be pretty happy about that overall, but not today. Callaway Golf, up 2.5% on the day. They're going to start making golf balls again in at least more of a full-time way. So if you're actually, I don't know of any golf course that closed, so maybe they saw less business, but seems like people were, still playing golf. And I measure that by the amount of golf balls in my backyard. Live on a golf course. I average 1 golf ball a day over a course of a week, and that has not changed, right? So apparently people are still playing golf. And if you're curious, the #1 ball that lands in my backyard is a Titleist Pro V1X. So yay for me. It's like making $3 every time a ball lands in there. So that's that one there. I don't give them back either. As soon as I hear them landing, I run out there like a little squirrel and grab them. Dell down 3% on the day, cutting employee benefits. They're also going to do a hiring freeze for the rest of the year, the rest of 2020. So the stock down just a little bit. Bad news for Hertz. Looks like they're moving towards liquidation. That's a fancy way of saying nobody wants to buy them at the moment. They got nothing to work on. They got no money coming in. Things are looking pretty bad. They're moving towards just starting to liquidate things. Maybe to test if they can liquidate to a smaller Hertz. It's not a good time to be in that business. Redfin stock was higher today, up 7% on the day. It's done really well through this whole virus meltdown. Their CEO is a cheerleader. Great CEO, very fun guy to watch. They said that the home buying on their platform, or at least people that use their platform to buy homes, has moved out of what they call recovery mode and now back into growth mode. It basically says they're kicking butt there. So cool. That's what we got there. Hyatt Hotels is going to offer 13 million shares and a secondary there, so they're going to dilute you there just a little bit. And Boston Scientific, I mentioned this yesterday, a lot of volume there. They're doing $1.5 billion, $750 million in common stock, right? A shares. They're just going to sell out to the public, and $750 million in convertible notes. However, those convertible notes, convertible preferred shares, sorry. Those convertible preferred shares are mandatory to convert to common stock. I think it was 3 or 5 years, something like that. So a little bit of a twist there if you're following along with what they're doing. What else do we have here? Maybe a couple stocks. I don't know if you care. Palo Alto, a little higher on the day. Palo Alto beat on earnings pretty sizably there, raised their guidance going forward. It's about to get back to new highs there. And Splunk software, up to highs there, up 13% just in the one day. They lost less than expected. The company loses money overall, but they lost less than expected, so it's a move towards profitability, hopefully, for them. They did lower their guidance going forward, but they beat earnings by quite a bit, so people were pretty happy with that. Willing to take a shot that these guys are moving towards profitability. So cheers if they do. Lumber liquidators coming up on Monday if you're interested. Earnings coming out there. What else? Scott's Miracle-Gro on a tear here lately, paying out their dividend of 58 cents. And West Pharmaceuticals took the place of Helmerich Payne in the S&P 500 today. That'll wrap it up. You know how hard it is to focus when these are just right in your eye? All right, I'll take a shot here, try to answer some of your questions if you happen to have any, and we'll see what we can do. NVIDIA is on fire. Yeah, NVIDIA doing really well there. Can't argue with that one. Yep. Oh yeah, it's like something happened here with the stream. I don't know what the deal is, but we'll wrap that thing up and get it posted for you. Yep, I love it. You like the semiconductor space? Yeah, I like it. TJ Maxx cut their dividend. Yeah. No golf in California. Oh man. Okay. Our golf courses were open. It's just people just going crazy. Maybe more time to play. I mean, it's just social distancing, right? They did the thing where if you're not a family member, you have to have separate carts. So you see like 4 and 5 carts out there because everybody's supposed to be in their own carts. So, it's something. Yeah. Oh, yeah. ACB in the news as well. Ooh, oh, I almost messed it up. See that? I almost messed up today. Down 8% on the day. You got to expect a little profit taking there from anybody that's been in the last month and a half, 2 months. You got to expect that some of them are going, yay, Oh, nice little bounce there. Yeah. Cisco, pretty quiet, moving back up into a choppy range there. If you look through through February of August of last year to February of this year, perfectly sideways range. It's basically just retreating back into that range. You never like to buy a stock when it's going back into a quiet area there, because what's the benefit? Do you assume it's just going to blast off past there? That's the risk you're taking on something like that. Yep. Oh yeah. Thoughts on British Petroleum for the long term there. You know, some of these are tough. They're relatively weak compared to the market. They're chopping around sideways over the last month and a half. I don't like to buy stocks that are quiet, right? If you're going to add a new stock to a portfolio, or you're just thinking about hand-picking a stock, you don't want to buy one that's sitting there quiet. You want a reason to buy it. Is it showing any signs of momentum? Has it found itself discounted relative to what you think is a fair value? Something like that. And I don't see any movement there in British Petroleum, or BP, I guess they call it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. XLF overdue to recover. Yeah, I hope so. That'd be nice to see financials kick in. You need it. That gets the markets back to highs if financials just kick in. Yeah. You're seeing a potential pullback overall in SP Plus. Well, it has pulled back, and it hasn't bounced really at all. So not 100% familiar with the most recent news on this company, but I don't like that it hasn't bounced at all. That's not a good sign. I'm guessing you're talking about something else, because it's already under all of the every moving average. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. How do you find a stock before it skyrockets? That's a good question. If I knew the answer, it would be a different story there. I would say do your research, see about something you think is maybe not being reported accurately. Who was it the other day? Peloton. No, I forget. We talked earlier in the week about an analyst that came out and said, we think they're reporting low numbers. And because we think they're reporting low numbers, if they just beat a little bit, people would be really excited. You could do that kind of analysis. Yep. Aaron, I don't see, I looked at the SP, if that's the stock you're talking about, but I don't know what stock you're talking about. Yeah. Thoughts on Digital Realty long term? I like that it pulled back sort of sharply. It's a volatile stock overall, but I like that it pulled back sort of sharply because this stock has been not quite an underperformer relative to the market. In the short term, yes, it has, but overall, these have held in there quite well. Maybe a little overbought, which caused the pullback there, but not bad. Yeah. What's going to happen to the Chinese stocks if the bill goes through? There's a lot of talk on that. Let them talk. They're going to talk for a while. There's a lot of politics being played now with that and a whole lot of other things. You see the talk about Amazon. They're bringing that back up. Amazon should pay taxes. They're a bad company for paying taxes. Honestly, if I was the CEO of the company, I'd be like, hey, you guys make the rules, right? Tell me, what tax am I supposed to pay? If you're going to put an advantage in there, I'm going to take advantage of it. No different than you. If you are paying your taxes and you find an advantage as an individual, are you a bad person for taking advantage of the tax laws as they stand? No. So I don't buy this, you got Trump and both Joe Biden picking on Jeff Bezos at the moment, then do something about it, right? Make it happen. And I sort of applaud Jeff Bezos for just sitting back going, yeah, whatever. What do you want me to say? He just doesn't comment. Yeah. Can we reach all-time highs before the next earnings? It sort of feels like that with the way the market's going there. I think the odds point to no on that one, if I had to just pick a direction, gun to my head. What should a retirement account have? Large cap, small cap, international. A retirement account should have what you need to get to whatever goal you have. I don't buy the whole argument of this general stuff, and I shouldn't. It's not my place, but you should have what you need to get to your goal. If your goal is rather lofty, you may need to be more aggressive, unless you're planning on putting more dollars away. If you're almost to retirement, you've basically got everything that you need, then that's obviously going to be a different equation. So it's a hard general question to answer, and I do applaud the financial gurus that attempt to answer that, but it's a tough one. You're always going to have someone debate you on that one. Amazon buys the politicians, gets those tax breaks. Politicians allow it, You can't allow them to buy you and then sit around and be like, hey, this is unfair that Amazon doesn't pay. That's how you know it's just a bickering match at the moment. If they're allowed to, if they're going to do it and they make it happen, then the politicians can't do anything, you know? We all may have opinions about companies of that size and the taxes they get to avoid, but at the end of the day, it's a vicious little circle. Fix it. That's why I'll never be the president, you know what I mean? I thought, I don't know that I didn't have enough time to decide if I was for or against the guy, but the one debate where Bloomberg did really kind of poorly, it was fun to watch. They said something about him not paying his fair share in taxes, and he was like, you guys make the rules. What do you, I'm following the rules. And he kind of got, you know, kind of a little couple jeers from that one. But yeah, I mean, what's he supposed to say? Here, I'll voluntarily give you more money than what you say I have to. Makes him look like a bad guy, I get it, but that's a tough one. Yeah. Oh, I got you guys fired up now. There you go. Well, I'll leave you guys to be all fired up with that. I've got some wine to drink there, and we'll wrap it up. I appreciate you guys watching, hanging out with me. Have a great rest of your day. And remember, it's a long weekend. Monday, there will be no show because it's a holiday. You guys will all be busy doing your thing as well. We'll be back on Tuesday, do this all over again. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.
Hey, wait! Before you go watch one of our other great videos, have you had a chance to see our new Fin Tips videos? They focus on one topic at a time, covering investing, personal finance, and anything that can quickly help you with your dough. Best of all, we'll keep it real short, because we know time is money.
Why should you choose Jazz Wealth as your retirement or long-term investing service? Our portfolios are managed by us, not some faceless mutual fund manager. Classes will teach you everything about getting your dough straight. Best of all, our fiduciary standard means your best interest comes before ours.